Stream-App's OBS. On this tab, you can see a table of your WebSocket connections, along with an information pane showing details about the selected connection. You can change the width of all columns by dragging the separators. If you double-click on a separator, the column will resize to fit the width of its largest value. You can't sort or filter anything in this table. Connections are sorted by ID. In the table you can see: first column. It doesn't have a header, but it represents the connection ID. Host, a combination of several connection fields, including name, version, host, and port, followed by OBS version and WebSocket plugin version. Starting from OBS version 28, the WebSocket plugin became a first-party plugin integrated into OBS itself. However, it still has its own versioning, which is important to know for troubleshooting. After connect indicates whether Streamer.Bot is set to automatically connect when Streamer.Bot starts. Reconnect indicates whether Streamer.Bot should attempt to reconnect if the connection is lost or a previous connection attempt failed. Retry displays the time interval in seconds for how often Streamer.Bot should attempt to reconnect if disconnected or if a previous attempt failed. Status shows the current connection status. Possible statuses are disconnected, connecting, connected. If you right-click anywhere on the empty space in this area, a context menu will appear with the following options. Add opens a dialog window to create a new connection. Update all actions to use default. Changes the setting for all of the application's sub-actions in all your actions to use the default connection. However, this does not affect triggers. They will continue to listen for the connection selected in their settings. When adding a new connection, you need to give it a name, choose a version. It is recommended to use version 5. Only use version 4 if you understand the difference and are prepared to troubleshoot issues on your own. Set the host. Usually this is your local host, also known as 127.0.0.1. If Streamer.Bot and OBS are running on different machines, you will need the IP address of the machine running OBS. Set the port. This must match the port in the OBS WebSocket plugin settings. By default, it is 4455 for version 5 and 4444 for version 4. Enter the password. If authentication is enabled in the OBS WebSocket plugin, copy the password from OBS into this field. You can find these settings in OBS under Tools, WebSocket Server Settings. Verify that OBS WebSocket Server is enabled. Click Show Connection Info, and it will display the required details. If it shows an IPv6 address, do not use it, as Streamer.Bot does not support IPv6. Instead, find your IPv4 address. You can check OBS settings under Settings, Advanced, Network in the Bind To field, which typically lists all available IP addresses for the machine. Additionally, configure the following. Enable After Connect if you want Streamer.Bot to connect automatically on startup. Enable After Reconnect if you want Streamer.Bot to attempt reconnection when the connection is lost. Set the reconnection interval, how often Streamer.Bot should retry if disconnected. After configuring these settings, click OK and the new connection will be added to the end of the list. You must manually connect it the first time to verify that everything is working. If successful, the status should change to connected and the information pane will be populated with data. If you select a connection, the information pane will display. OBS information displays the OBS and WebSocket plugin versions. Current scene, a read-only field showing your current scene. Groups, a drop-down menu listing all groups in the current scene. Hide, if you select a group from the drop-down menu and click this button, it will set the visibility of every item inside the group to hidden. Side note, it is recommended to use nested scenes instead of groups. Stream status, a read-only field displaying the current stream and recording statuses. Sources, a tree view representation of your sources in the current scene. You can only view it and not do much else. If you right-click on a connection, a context menu will appear with the following options. Add opens a dialog window for creating a new connection. Edit opens the same dialog window but pre-populated with data from the selected connection. If the connection is currently connected, you can only change its name, whether it should after connect on Streamer.Bot startup, whether it should reconnect on disconnect, The interval for reconnection retries. If the connection is currently disconnected, you can change every field. Delete prompts you to confirm the deletion of the selected connection. Beware, when you create a connection, it is assigned a unique internal ID. If you delete a connection and create a new one, even with the same settings and name, any actions linked to the original connection will stop working because they were connected to the old internal ID, not the name or the connection ID you see in this table. If any subactions use this connection, Streamer.Bot will warn you. After deleting the connection, all subactions that were using it will be assigned to default, and all triggers will be assigned to any. After connect, checkbox to enable or disable after connect. Reconnect, checkbox to enable or disable automatic reconnection. Default, set this connection as the default. It will also be used when importing actions that use the application's subactions set to a specific connection. By default, the first connection in the list is marked as default. You can manually select any connection as the default. If the default connection is removed, the first connection in the list becomes the new default. Force, a checkbox for temporarily overriding which connection all the application's subactions should use. The override remains in effect until you uncheck this box or close Streamer.Bot. Update all actions too. Changes the settings for all the application subactions in all your actions to use this connection. Update all actions to use default. Changes the settings for all the application's subactions in all your actions to use default connection. Important, the last three options do not affect triggers. They will continue to listen for the connection specified in their settings. Connect, disconnect. Connects or disconnects the selected connection depending on its current state.